All right. So thank you so much, people who all have joined here. And today the speaker will be Miss Gayatri Gudipati. She's the HR manager at RoundSqr, and she has around 15 years of experience in HR domain. And for today, she'll be speaking on the topic of HR, a shapeshifter, and hopefully we'll be getting her expertise and learn something out of it. So thank you so much, ma'am, for joining. And now I would like you to take forward the session.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hardik. Hi, very good afternoon, all.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's very pleasant to meet all the HR aspirants, of course. And I know it is very difficult to sit for an hour after the heavy lunch and listen to someone. Okay, so we'll make it more interactive. Anyway, I'm not going to teach you anything on the concepts front because you'll be learning that in your college. I'm here to share my experiences. So, what I have done, or what we as a HR has done in the company or in the industry, and what are the roles we have played. Okay, well, that sounds good.
Yes, ma'am.
So, let it be more interactive. If you have any questions, you can stop me in between and we can discuss. Okay, so let me share my screen first. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. Now we can see.
Yeah. So I named it as HR a shapeshifter because we are changing our roles and we are wearing different hats as per the business requirement and as per the market situation. So, and also we evolved from welfare manager to strategic HR manager. So I feel that a shapeshifter term would be apt. So that is the reason. So nothing special on that. So HR a shapeshifter, I named it. So, how we evolved in the early 20th century. So, we started our journey as a welfare managers. Our focus was mainly on the working conditions and health of the workers. So, there is a very limited scope, and we used to take care of the major sick benefits or maternity benefits of the workers. Slowly, in the mid of 20th century, we became personal managers. And our focus was mainly on the administrative works like record keeping, time and attendance, and recruiting people, and wage and salary disbursement. It is not a limited one, it's a bit a proactive one. And in the late 20th century, we were started acting as human resource managers, and we started looking at people as an asset. So we started investing on the development front and started motivating the employees and treating them as a long-term assets. And now, in the 21st century, we are as a strategic HR managers sitting on the boardroom and even suggesting the management what is good in terms of human resources and how to improve the business performance. So we are aligning our HR processes and even policies towards the business results. So we evolved from welfare managers to strategic HR managers. So that is the reason I call it as shapeshifter. So before I move on to the slide, I would like to check with you guys. So you are in the second semester, right? Sorry, second year.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So why have you chosen HR as your specialization? Anyone?
Uh, so, ma'am, I would like to give my example. I have chosen HR is because, like, I'm an extrovert. I like interacting with people and human, like it managing humans is something which I'm very good at, not managing computers. So
Wow.
that's something that's why I chose HR as a domain.
Okay. So what about the students? Anyone? That is okay. There is no right and wrong answer. So it is up to you. So if you ask me why I have chosen HR, it's because my father forced me to take. That's simple. So don't bother. So I just want to hear about what you know in terms of HR, and so that I can give you an insight what is happening in the industry, and I can share relate my experience to that.
Ma'am, if any organization is getting successful, it means some work is being done by the organization, So if we have a good motivational or the efficiency of the organization can be improved with the workforce, that workforce will be handled by HR.
Okay. Okay, so that is the reason you have selected HR as your specialization.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so let me proceed. So you, even if you have any queries or if you want to share anything, we can park it to the end of the session. Not a problem. Okay, let me share it again. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Is it visible now? So I would like to highlight few roles of the HR. Of course, I selected octopus as a symbol because we fit into any role. We fit into any industry. It's just as a symbol. So let us start with talent acquisition. So if you see in the market, there are many requirements for recruiters as well as employee relations expert or shared services expert, L&D experts. There are plenty of roles. So HR being divided into many verticals. So here I would like to highlight few roles of a HR, and we talk a little more about few roles. Okay, let me take you through. Talent acquisition is what we recruit and maximize the talent. So talent management, so once we hire the employee or the talent, so our responsibility is to manage the talent. So how we maintain a positive relationship with employees. So once we hire an employee with some skill set, will that be enough for a long term sustainability? No. We need to put efforts, or the employee has to enhance his or her skill sets. That even helps the organization for further growth. So we need to develop our employees or motivate our employees through some rewards and recognition programs. There are plenty of the other things, and retain our existing workforce. What is shared services? So there are many activities which are repetitive in nature. Suppose if we take, you have any idea about Provident Fund?
Yes, ma'am.
No. Yeah. So that is a centralized act. We need not to have a person dedicatedly in every state. Suppose a company, it's a large company, so they have their presence in different states of India, and we need not to have a person dedicated for PF in each state. So there is a subject matter expert who can take care of that PF and ESI. That person or the team can be based in the hub or corporate office. So likewise, there are many other activities that can be centralized and can provide a quality service. Like the other one, payroll. So we process the salary on one date in a month, right? It won't be different for different states or different dates. So even the payroll can be outsourced or it can be managed at a hub level, centralized process. There are other activities as well. So we call it as shared services, and there are subject matter experts available. And if the employees has any query, then they can reach out to the subject matter expert and get the immediate resolution. What is compliances, which are critical actually? So any company in any industry, they should abide by some rules, regulatory compliances. Suppose we are into IT industry, so we should be complied with the Shopshond Establishment Act rules. So likewise, there are many other acts which we should abide by and file the returns and all those stuffs. It is HR responsibility to ensure all these compliances are met on time. Business partners, I think we must be hearing this HRBP role frequently. So as we rightly said, as a strategic HR business partner, so we should align our policy and procedures towards the big picture and the organizational objectives. What is operations? So we do have a separate vertical for HR operations. So the HR operation person generally oversees the HR process policies related to employee life cycle. What is the life cycle? So from the day the person joins until the person exits, in between the period, we call it as life cycle. So HR ops person responsibility is to take care of the employee life cycle. Of course, we do act as a change agent, and it is HR responsibility to ensure the change happen very smoothly. It helps the organization and the team make real behavioral changes. Suppose an instance, in my experience, so an organization, every organization will have some values and core principles, right? So one organization, they wanted to change some values, add some values to the organization, and it has become our responsibility to inculcate these values in employees. How do we do that? We created awareness sessions, we do have some fun activities, we created a song as well, so that the people will remember what are our values. And there is a program, rewards and recognition program, that is completely a value driven rewards and recognition program we have created. So likewise, so we should ensure employees demonstrate these values in their daily work. So HR plays a major role as a change agent. So these are the few roles I thought I'll share it with you. And in my next session, so maybe I'll focus on talent acquisition, talent management, and shared services and compliances. Anyone has any queries?
No, ma'am.
No
Pretty
point.
clear.
Cool. So let me start with talent acquisition. What you know about talent acquisition? Anyone? What we generally do? You must be hearing from your alumni, senior students, and all those, right? So they must be working somewhere as a recruiters or talent acquisition executives. Any idea what we do generally?
According to the client briefs or the job description, we source people from different portals or different methods
Mhm.
to like get the best talent in our company. That's the basic.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. So we hire the right skills and potential to evaluate the company. That's why. So in RoundSqr, so what we believe is if the person has the right attitude and right intent, and the person has the ability to learn, we hire the person. So it depends on the company philosophy or policy. So if somebody is really interested to have a candidate on board with the right skill, that is okay. But what we believe is if the person has the right intent, then we can groom the person and the skill set level. So what is the process before we hire a person? So there is some back end work happens, right? So that starts with the manpower planning. First of all, we should understand what is the business requirement for the current financial year, or what is the near future requirements. And based on the requirements, we should have a skill matrix available for the existing workforce, like what we are good at, what are the skill set that is readily available, that we can map those resources to the nearby projects. So we should understand the existing workforce, and if we have few people with a similar skill set, but there is some training that is required too, so we can just give the training, and we can even map those resources to the future projects. That saves our time and efforts, and as well as the cost. Otherwise, we end up straight away going to the external partners and hiring the external candidates. So we need not to do that. First of all, we should understand what is the workforce we have, so that we can align our manpower to the requirements. So once we decide we don't have any people so with the right skill set or even similar skill set, and so what is the strategy we are going to adapt for the recruitment? What is our plan of action? There are plenty of options available, different strategies we can adapt. One is we can even post it in the social media, career space, job postings. We can even go for a referral program. There is a database we generally maintain. So those who walk into the company with a job, seeking a job opportunity, we do maintain a database. And there is a staff augmentation where we approach a partner who can support us with the immediate joiners. There is a contract basis we call. So these are the options we have. That is up to us which platform we choose. We can even choose multiple platforms. Social media, we have LinkedIn. Yeah, we have LinkedIn, even Facebook, and career space. Of course, there are plenty. Naukri, Indeed, even Monster. So we do the referral program. If you see, that is the best one. Even I feel, because we approach our existing employees and they know about the culture of the company and what we do. So they give good feedback to their friends and they can refer. So even they know the exact requirement what we are looking for. So the chances of getting a perfect match would be much better through the employee referral program. And also it motivates employee, because through the referral program we even give them a referral bonus. That kind of a motivation we can give to the employees. So once we decide on our strategy, so the process starts. So you should understand what is our recruitment process. So in earlier days, we used to collect manpower requisition form in a hard copy. So now, then slowly we move to the digital copy. So which contains what position, what is the experience we need, all those stuff. So later on, now we are using tools where the project manager just send a request for the manpower. We do the analysis whether we have internal sources available or go for an external hiring. We give our comments and submit and start working on that. So once we get the requirement from the business heads or the project managers, we start sourcing the profiles with the different sources like social media, career page, or even staffing partners we have. So once we get the profile, the evaluation start. Initially, HR should do the initial screening. So what we do as a HR in the initial screening, what all we check? So we check the candidate's attitude and as well as his experience and the skill set and how soon the person can join and whether he will be falling under our budget or all those stuff. If the person has, as I rightly said, if the person has a good attitude, we can even consider for the next rounds. So once we screen the profile and we are good to go for the next level, so we schedule technical interview. So technical interview, taking the time slots from the technical panel and checking the availability of the candidates. It's some kind of a coordination that is required. So once we schedule a call, so we send an invite and get the evaluation done. And the feedback, how we receive a feedback. If simply the technical panel says person is selected, will that be sufficient for us? No, we should have a clear feedback because on the skill set wise, on a rating wise, and a feedback. In case if the person is not suitable for the particular requirement, maybe we can map the person to another requirement which is in the pipeline. So we should have a clear feedback so that we can take some decisions. We can't get a person ready made available. So we need to adjust here and there and see where we can groom this person. If the skill set is okay to manage, we can hire. So always good to have a detailed feedback from the technical panel. So once the person clears the interview, will report to the management, take the approvals, and we'll roll out the offer. What happens if the person does not clear the interview? We should go back and inform the candidate. That is must. Otherwise, it gives a very bad impression on the company. So we must be hearing jokes about HR in the social media saying person was waiting for the HR feedback and end up dying. So don't do that because we are putting lot of efforts and we do things in a proper way that would be better. So go back to the candidate and say, boss, you are not through. Maybe we'll come back for any other requirement, suitable requirement. That is enough. So once we roll out the offer, there are two things. Either we roll out the offer and start the background verification, or do the background verification and then roll out the offer. It depends on the company and the urgency of the requirement. What we do and why we do the background verification, just to check the genuinity of the candidate. Okay, so what all we check in the background verification? We check the education, the highest education, and also the recent experience, last 3 employments we check. And some clients maybe they require the drug test depending on the country and the agreements we have. And there is a criminal record to be verified, international database check to be done. So there are plenty of checks that are required as per the client. So as a company, we should decide what all check we do. And once we get the report, yeah, that is clear. If there is any discrepancy, we should go back to the candidate and ask for a justification. If justification is clear and we collect some declaration that is sufficient enough, pretty good. Otherwise, we can withdraw our offer. So till the person on board, once the person accept the offer until the person on board, there is certain period, right? So it is our responsibility as a HR to engage the candidate. So we can engage the employees. How to engage a candidate? There are many ways. Like as a process of background verification, we collect all the details, right? So collect their date of birth and even wedding anniversary details, all those. If something is falling on in this particular period, just send a wishes, call them up and give them the wishes. So that really excites the candidate to join our organization. Not only that, schedule a call with your senior management and give that confidence to the candidate that they are really valued. and even schedule a call with the project manager and have that some briefing happen on the project so that he's aware of in which project he's going to join. So these are the few things we started doing so that we engage and we get hold of a candidate. This is the talent acquisition process. How we do in RoundSqr. Just a glimpse, a day in the life of a TA executive. Of course, we gather the requirement, we collect the JD, and we we post it to the employees. So it's an employee referral program we have, and we post it in LinkedIn and even career space. We get profiles and we do the evaluation. We send the calendar invites because it's virtually connected now, so we are doing all video calls for the interview. And so we collect even the photographs of the candidate before we schedule the interviews. Why? Because there are many challenges we have faced during this pandemic, because it is completely work from home. Earlier, we used to call the candidate to the office, and we have face-to-face interview scheduled, and there are high chances of having a genuine candidate. But these days, few guys are having a fake experience. Mm, I mean, I don't want to quote as a fake. It's not a genuine experience they have, and somebody else taking the interview and somebody is prompting them during the interview. These are many things happening in this virtual interview. So we are ensuring we are putting our best efforts to ensure we get a genuine candidate. So we are collecting the photographs and we are just verifying during the interview whether the same person is attending or not. And even we are seeing the lip syncs, whether somebody else is speaking on behalf or even the same person is taking the interview. All those measures we are taking. So once the person clears the interview, then we collect the documents. We call it as candidate declaration form. So we take the declaration from the candidate saying that we can do the background verification. That is really important. We should have a consent from the candidate. So once we do the background verification and it is clear, so welcome aboard. We send a welcome email, and we schedule a 30 to 40 minutes induction, a brief about the policies and process, and then we'll assign a buddy to the new joiner so that the person feels comfortable and reaching out for any queries to the buddy, because generally people will be more free talking to the colleagues than a HR. So of course that should not be there, but having a buddy is always helpful for the person to settle down in the company. As we said, so we should ensure stakeholder communication in all the steps, not only in the talent acquisition. In any of the activities we are doing, we should keep inform the respective stakeholders. As I mentioned, there are many challenges we are facing: impersonation, proxy, and the market is quite open, and there is a high demand for all levels, all kind of skill sets. And earlier, so if we roll out an offer, the chances of getting the person on board is 80 to 90%. Now the chances of getting person on board is only 20%, because people are holding many offers and looking for more and more offers with a better, they are saying better package. So these are the challenges in these days we are facing, and of course we are trying our best to have the right people on board. Before I move on to the next topic, any questions you have? You guys are listening. Am I making any sense, or it is a bit boring?
So, ma'am, I really like the example of someone dying because of not replying to his feedback.
I have seen that joke in LinkedIn, even in WhatsApp, even in Facebook, because HR did not revert.
This is something shocking, like which I've
No,
heard for the
I
first
mean
time.
he waited for the ages
Okay, so this
in
is
front of.
something. This is his last option he was like looking at.
Yeah, so people are there making fun of HR, but of course we know what are the efforts, what are the struggles we have in the company or in the outside.
True.
So, any questions from the students?
No, ma'am, it's going smooth. Like everything is good.
Okay. So before I move on, I just want to see how familiar you are with the HR words or terminology. Shall we have a quick fun game?
Sure, ma'am. Seems fun already. Yeah.
Seems fun already,
Yeah.
Afrin. One second. So let me share with you a link. Even you can just use your mobiles to open that link. I've shared it. There are some pictures and some words. You should see and match up these words and pictures. You have 2 minutes time, and if you are done, do not start again. Do not look for answers. Just enter your name on the leadership board. So I'll get to know the timing and whoever has given a correct answer. Everyone there? Okay, one.
Yes, ma'am. We started the link.
Okay. Let me see who all joined. Just a 2 minutes game.
Sure, ma'am.
Anybody has completed? No?
Done, ma'am.
Done. Okay, let me see the score. So you have submitted your name in the leadership board, right? Not done? You should enter your name in the leadership board. Then only I can see your score. Or else it's okay if you can share
I
this.
can tell you, ma'am. It's 7.
7, okay. Okay, let me share my screen so that we can do it together. Okay, what comes here with this picture? Anyone? There is someone teaching
Training.
some. Okay, let me see. And this one?
Retention.
Yeah. We are trying to retain a person.
Empathy.
Empathy.
I mean, okay. Is it Hardik only speaking?
Next is performance, ma'am.
Okay. And this one?
Termination.
Cool. This one?
Process.
Cool. And this one?
Grievance.
Termination.
Grievance.
Yeah. So the next one?
Consequences.
Compliances.
Yeah. So we should abide by the regulatory compliances. So
Appreciation.
yeah, this is good.
Onboard.
Cool.
Consequence and higher.
Perfect. Yeah. All done. Great. Yeah. I thought somebody, I mean, just to engage you guys, whether you are actively listening or not to worry. Okay, let us go back to our presentation. So we done all this. So coming to the talent management. So what is talent management? So if you attract and hire good employees but don't invest in their development, you won't be able to retain them. So what all we can do in the talent management? So once the person onboards, so giving the first impression, giving the pleasant experience on the first day, it is utmost important for us. So ensuring all the login credentials are there and the laptop and other assets are available for the project, and give a brief introduction about the company policies and process, and assign some trainings, mandatory trainings to in terms of the compliances and the domain trainings and all those stuff, and give some goodies and send a welcome email, and introduce the person to the management if possible. So ensure the person get a positive experience, because that lasts forever, and that even contributes for a long term association. And once the person onboards, we do collect, I mean just going, not going by sequence, I'm just telling you what we do in the company. So collect the individual development plan maybe after a month. So what are their aspirations, and ensure we capture those things in the goal setting. So unless you capture in the goal setting, so they won't work generally. If something needs to be achieved, then only we work, otherwise that remains to be an aspiration. So collect all those things. And for the continuous engagement, identify what is the motivational factor for the employee. So for me, so participating in an event that motivates me, the fun that encourages me. So but for others, so how can I improve my skills, what kind of a trainings I should attend, that is a motivating factor. So understand what is the motivating factor for the particular person. So we collect for all the employees what are their motivational factors and their individual development plans, and we come up with the employee engagement calendar and as well as training calendar. So what is the employee engagement? It is not only conducting a fun activities or refreshing activities. We can sometimes having learning Fridays, or few companies where they work 6 days learning Saturdays, and show some movie or picture and ask what that inspires them, what is that they learned from that movie. That is also some kind of a learning and also a fun activity. And we did conducted some Monday morning munch. It's only for the business heads, vertical heads. We talk about the industry, what is happening informally, not formally. And Friday chai biscuit, I'm just taking few events which I have conducted. So Friday chai biscuit, where we have a small gathering with the one team and discuss generally, so how they are and what is happening, not in the industry, informal discussion, so that we can build that rapport. So, as a HR, we should ensure we create an open culture and a friendly environment in the organization. So, people should not hesitate to come to HR for their concerns. So, they should always look at HR for any of their concerns. They should feel that we can listen to them at least. We should show some empathy. Okay, so coming to the learning and development, we said we should maintain a training calendar. So, what is that? How we arrive to the training calendar? How we decide what are the trainings we need to schedule for this year or for this quarter? So, there are different inputs we get. One is that individual development plan. So, employee himself or herself will decide, so this is where I want to be and these are the skill set I need to enhance. So the other input is from the reporting managers. So they will suggest this is the business requirement and this guy or this person is good at these skills and to be improved in these areas. So that is one kind of an input. Even during the appraisal, we generally get the feedback for each and individual, right, on the competency front. So we capture all these inputs and see, so what is required for the business, and do the competency matrix and decide on the trainings. So once we decide on the trainings and we prepare a calendar, so it is our duty to uh, select a trainer either externally or even internally. So suppose an example, so one set of people require an advanced Excel training, and we have a person who is really good at that. So we can take him, we can ask him for a support to conduct a session. So that way we can even motivate the person who is giving this session, so he feel that he's an internal trainer, and even we can award them with some kind of a certificate or something. And we can also reduce the cost. So that way we need to identify a trainer and then conduct the sessions. So conducting the sessions, will that be sufficient for us? Will that be enough for us? No. Why are we conducting the trainings? To for the employee developments, whether that really happened or not, we get to know during the training effectiveness measures. So how we measure the effectiveness of the training. Supposing the same example, so we have given this Excel training some set of people. So I'm a person, so during the session I learn easily, so at the end of the day I'll answer correctly, so enough. So but when I go back to the work, I'm unable to recollect and apply the same in the work. So it's a completely waste of time and waste of energy. So we need to see whether the person is really applying whatever they learned in the training in their daily activities, whether there is an improvement in the reports they are published, because we have given in the Excel training, right? So whether there is a quality of reports delivered or not, where they are lacking again. So do we need another session for whom? So these are the training effectiveness that to be done. So once we do that, so we'll get to know whether we have really done a good thing or not. And coming to the performance management, so as we said, goal setting that should be done in the at the beginning of the year, even once the person joins. So we should have the goals in place, and we should ensure the periodical reviews happen. It depends again on the company process, whether we do the annual appraisal or we do a half yearly or a quarterly. I'll take one instance. In my previous experience, there is some merger and acquisitions happen. So there is a cultural changes and process changes everywhere. So people are no confused what is expected from the management. So what we have done is we have divided the monthly targets to a weekly targets or weekly goals, and started guiding them on a weekly basis. We just have a half an hour call and see what they have done and where they need support, so that they slowly started picking up. And later on we move to only quarterly reviews. So even on the reviews, when we do before the, I mean, in the goal setting time itself, we ensure the goals are clearly communicated to each and every employee. It's not that we fix some goals and just share it with an employee. It should be a two-way communication. We should just ask even employees, so whether it is really achievable. We should have a smart goals, obviously. So once we set the goals, once we have a periodical reviews, if it is an annual appraisal at the end, we should ensure transparent discussions happen between the employer or employee. Even in the periodical reviews, it should not be a one-way communication. We should even take the inputs from the employee. So it is HR responsibility that discussions are happen between an employee and employer. And if there are any improvement areas, we should start doing the improvement. We call it as performance improvement plans, PIPs. So the employee should undergo the PIP. So we monitor the person and extend the support even in case the person required any for 2 months or 3 months, and then again review the performance. This is about performance management. So compensation. So it's a big question now, because with the same skill set and same experience, people are getting different salaries. So as a HR person, so performance during the appraisal process, it is our opportunity to correct the salaries. So we should have a benchmarking available. What is our employees' salaries and how the market is, and do the benchmarking analysis, and then do the corrections, so that people will also be get motivated and happy. And there is another option, many companies are doing it, even we are doing it. There is a stock programs. It is nothing but giving the share options to the employees. This is one of the motivating factors to retain the existing workforce, even to attract the right talent. And we said we should create a positive relationship, right? That is, we call it a separate wing employee relations, but it is, of course, HR responsibility. We should put our efforts to create and maintain a positive relationship. And what are the challenges we generally face as an HR? There are some grievances. So we have seen that the smiley, sad smiley. So people are not happy with some of the process and policies. That is a grievance. When the person comes to you, you should show some empathy. You should be a listening ear to employees. So let them speak, understand their concern, and you act. So whatever the action you have to take, if there is a process change to be done, you reach out to the employee management and suggest the changes. And this is a corrective action. So as a preventive action, so what we do is we connect proactively with all the employees. HR connects, we do randomly. It's not about one team will do today and another team will do. So we pick it up randomly. We talk to the employee, understand how the work is, whether there is any pressure, anything, any suggestions from them for the company, any concerns they have, so that instead if we can address these issues before it becomes serious thing. And there are some harassment related issues. I'm not talking about the sexual harassment, in general harassment, even between there are obviously for few people there will be a conflict between the reporting manager and with an employee. So how to address this? So these are the challenges we have as an employee relations manager or spark. So we need to address. What are the key principles generally we should keep in mind? We should keep our promises. So at the time of joining, we promise them that we'll promote him, we will promote the person in 6 months, and later on we say, no, it is not our process. That should not be the case. If you are really want to do something, so then only give the promise. Keep your promises and ensure you have a clear communication, honest communication, and you have all hands or town hall meetings happen in between, maybe on 3 month monthly ones or quarterly ones, so that the management will communicate with employees what is happening in the business. That in that way we can gain the trust of employees. Ensure there is open communication and transparent communication. Invest in your people. Also recognize and reward them. If a person has done some good amount of work, appreciate the person immediately. Don't wait for the any town hall meeting to happen, then we'll appreciate. We can appreciate even then as well, but immediately we should appreciate. Just an appreciation email that will do. So that will generally boost the employee morale. And don't play favorites. So there is a quote from the Prime Minister of New Zealand that I refuse to believe that you cannot be both compassionate and strong. Even I refuse to believe, because we are compassionate as well as we should be firm in our decisions. So if there is any indisciplinary action to be taken on an employee, we are, of course, we can do. So we are such kind of a person. We are friendly as well as strong enough to take any tough decisions. So last but not the least slide, shared services and compliances. We discussed on that shared services, payroll, even L&D, recruitment and leave administration. So we can have in a centralized hub who can take care of all these things, and HR automation. So use the technology. So otherwise you will end up doing operational work. So if you want to focus on a non-operational and do some quality work in the HR, use the technology and the tools very well. So automate whatever possible. And the compliances, as I said, so shop and establishment is something which is related to the IT industry. The company should be registered under Shop and Establishment Act. Earlier, what we used to do, we used to submit the form in the labor office. Now, thanks to technology again, so government, there is a portal, labor portal available. We can log in and we can renew, or we can register ourselves, do the periodical compliances as well. Earlier we used to maintain hard copy registers for different registers like wage register, penalty register and all those stuff, because we can expect a labor officer inspection and then we'll get a notice if we don't maintain. Slowly it moved to a digital registers, now it is online. So technology is advancing, so we should make use of it, and so that we can focus on the strategy of the company. And the POSH Act, of course, it is critical these days. So we should have an internal compliance committee which handles these kind of issues. There is a separate process and policies that should be available, and also we should give awareness session to all the employees. This is all from my end. So since there is no title of ninja, so they called it as human resources, because we do multitasking full time. And because we are an official lawyer, we are psychologists, event planner, teachers, detectives, and even career planners. Anything from you guys?
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a great session. Like you covered all the aspects from talent acquisition to management to shared services to compliances. We didn't know about the acts and what all we need to be prepared about the law section. So we got to know about that also. And you told us about what's the importance of HR in an organization and how things can be like taken care of if HR plays well in the organization. And apart from this, you gave us a practical overview, like which we don't get in a theoretical environment. But I have a question for you, ma'am.
Yeah,
Like
please.
there are people in our MBA as well who are introvert, and they don't like to be very much interactive with people, like introvert people are. So what these kind of people do in order to be good at HR, or any like key pointers they need to follow? That's what I want to ask.
Okay. Even that questions even implies to me because I'm pretty introvert.
Okay.
Even if you see in my MBA days, people used to no. I mean, I used to work alone in a silo. So initially, I started my career as a subject matter expert in the operations front. Then later on, so you will understand as an HR that is a basic requirement. You should have that ability to connect with people. So that is the reason why I asked you initially, why have you chosen HR as your specialization? Somewhere you know that you can deal with people. So how you deal with the people unless you connect with them? You start interacting, start no talking to the people informally initially. Then you start with one person, then it's you can slowly interact with many people. I have done like that. So the first thing I do when I walk into the office is it's an informal chat with everyone. I'll just go to their desk and see how are you. It's just a casual talk, just to have that. Even I should overcome that fear. I mean, I can't face anyone directly. Just to overcome that fear, so I started interacting with people, so informally. I started initiating the conversation as well. I was very bad at in the group discussion during my college days because I'm very afraid what to talk in front of many people. I have that stage fear. So it takes time, but unless you take this first step, you won't overcome it. So see, so you want to connect with the people, right? That is the reason you have chosen HR. Unless you start, you initiate that conversation, you can't make it. Nobody is, no, what you say. Nobody is uh, yelling at you. If you go and talk to them, nobody say no. Don't go to the personal space. Just start uh, saying hi. How are you? How is your work? Since you are HR, they will definitely say they will share about their work. So start with that, and then you'll be okay.
Right, ma'am. And apart from this, any other certification or any resources which we need to follow in order to like understand better this domain?
Certification, there are many certification you can ask. SHRM is there, and also HR analytics. That is also a course that will available, because these days we should focus on our data and analysis and forecast and plan for our future. So HR analytics, that is one I even suggest. Uh, yeah, and just follow the market, what is happening. Be active in LinkedIn and see what is happening in the business front. That is good enough.
All right. And are we getting any chance to work with you guys?
Definitely, if there is an opportunity, definitely. I mean, even I had interns. I mean, just few months back, and even we took them as an on-roll employees. So uh, I always get a new ideas from the interns. New, I mean, with students. So yes, of course, if there is an opportunity, we'll definitely come back to you and ask for help.
Sure, ma'am. We also want to be part of RoundSqr, and now would like others to go forward and ask if they have any questions or not.
Yeah.
No questions, but I would like to thank you in the way that you have told about RoundSqr, because practically giving an example about everything, each and every point, um, from the referral program, what are the benefits, or in detail. Thanks for all of that, ma'am. And I love the conclusion that you have given.
Thanks, Afrin. Okay, so even not now, if you have any questions or if you want to reach out to me, do not hesitate even after the session. So we are happy to be, part of HCU.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so much,
that.
ma'am.
And we
Ma'am,
are so
can we
grateful
share
for that.
your like email to the students if they have any queries or if they want to contact you? So an email of yours would be shared with the students.
Sure. Maybe Akash can help you with that. So we can send out an email to Afrin or you so that we can take it forward. The
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much.
students. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you, guys. Nice meeting you all.